Hey everyone, it's Mikki here. You're listening to Mini Mikkipedia on a Monday, and today I want to chat about something which comes up a lot in our conversations in Mondays Matter and just with clients as well, and it's how to talk to your kids about food without passing on diet culture. And this is a big one. I talk a lot about this actually. I sort of joke about it. It's very un-PC as to how the fact that when I was, young and I would diet with my mum, it was like some sort of bonding, and it actually garnered an enthusiasm for nutrition that led on to a career. Now, I don't think every aspect of this is healthy by any stretch of the imagination. And certainly now, it's just so different now compared to what it was like when we were growing up. We absolutely have to be mindful about how we talk to our kids. Not that you don't know that, because clearly I get a lot of questions on this. So it's just one of these things that we have to navigate quite carefully. And of course, for many of us, we grew up around dieting and meant that we watched our parents and those around us sort of like cut carbs, skip meals, or shame themselves for eating dessert. So the language that is used around food is often problematic. And of course, today we are more aware, and understandably, parents can be really scared to mention the fact that they're following a plan in front of their kids. One of the most important aspects about this isn't the behavior, like weighing food, tracking macros, saying no to cake. These are not issues, but it's the language and the energy around it that can be an issue. And this is what I want to chat about today. When you are chatting to your kids, if it comes up in conversation about, your why and why you're doing this, it's really important, obviously, for your children to understand that adults and kids have different goals and needs, albeit I've had clients who don't want to talk about this in front of their adult children, and I think that's an entirely separate issue there. But I'm sort of thinking about sort of the younger kids. So, for example, if you think about someone coming into my Mondays Matter plan and the type of language that is used around sort of explaining why they're doing it, like mum is focused on building muscle and managing her energy, which just means eating in a certain way that works for her body. So being super upfront that you're following a plan, but it's with this abundant mindset, and it's not about mum can't have these foods because it makes her fat, or mum's trying to lose weight. It's looking at the opportunity to eat in a way that supports goals. So this is the sort of mindset approach that ideally people would have. And of course, for the kids, like, you're still growing. You need lots of variety, lots of food groups to fuel your body and brain. And the reality is kids need the same sort of foods that we do, albeit there is a lot of quote unquote kid food around that we think it's fine for kids to have because they're kids and they're growing and they need calories. All of that is true. They also need nutrients. And it's really just the amounts of the foods that you as an adult might require if you're trying to improve body composition is quite different to your teenage child who is super active and burns off a whole lot of calories, but they still do need nutrients. What is important here is, as I said, different bodies have different needs, and we need to normalize that not everyone eats the same food, and that's actually okay. It is actually all right. We need to really reframe the word diet. It doesn't have to be this sort of dirty word, like a 4-letter word. Of course it is. It is literally just a way of eating. And we want to ideally replace this restriction and deprivation talk with this sort of function talk. Like, you're eating this way to feel better, sleep better, run faster, lift heavier in the gym, optimizing for your performance, rather than language like, I'm being good, this is why I'm eating this way, or I can't have that. You can tell the difference, can't you? Even just hearing it out loud, it's quite obvious. But our default is in that sort of deprivation mindset, and we need to move beyond that to this abundant mindset. So with regards to how you feel about your diet, this is the language, and this really helps you and your brain as well. But your brain gets messages from all of the inputs, including how you're thinking about your diet. So if you're coming into a plan thinking about it like it is a restrictive, low-calorie deprivation of all the things that you love, then your mindset around it and your actions and behavior are going to reflect that. Instead, if you let yourself, of course, but your kids also see your food choices as intentional and not punitive. If you model curiosity and flexibility, like for the next couple of weeks, I'm trying more protein to see how I feel. Or I'm limiting this dairy because I don't think it's good for my stomach and I want to see how I feel without it. And talk to them about that curiosity and figuring out what works best for you. And also, of course, what's super important is not only are they witnessing your balance and your curiosity, but allow them to witness your joy as well. So if you eat cake, for example, do it with joy and enjoy it and then move on. I mean, it is just food. But if you skip it, do it without an apology. Do not add or layer on excuses. You don't have to make a big deal about it. So it is about you being neutral as well. And that's important. And then kids will be neutral about it too. When kids ask about weighing or tracking food, again, you just want to be honest and neutral to them. So again, from that abundant mindset, this is helping you make sure that you're eating enough of what you need. Because we also know in the real world, people undereat protein and overestimate the amounts that they're having. So in all essence, this is exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to make sure you're eating enough of what you need. And that's the bit that you focus on. Don't tell them that you're focusing on making sure you don't overeat peanut butter because it makes you fat or anything like that. Like ideally you wouldn't be thinking these things, but you're just becoming more aware of what you're putting in your body and what your body needs. And again, another thing you could say, it's, this is a bit like budgeting. It's just helping you stay on track for your goals. So remove the morality around it or the weirdness about it. Don't be weird about it and they won't be weird about it. Try to avoid certain things as well. Like avoid saying things like you need to lose weight to be happy or lose weight to fit into your favorite jeans or lose weight to be the size you were 10 years ago. Try not to use food as reward or punishment. Like you've been so good today that you get a chocolate bar after dinner or anything like this. I mean, this is all very 101, but we do forget it. And quite a lot of this is ingrained into how we think and feel about food. So sort of bringing it up allows us to be aware of it and then we can make changes with it. So don't use food as reward or punishment. Don't assign moral values to food like this is naughty, I'm having a treat, I'm being bad. All of this is language that people use and we don't even think about it because it's so ingrained in how we in what we say. So again, being aware of that is super important. And then even if your goals are purely aesthetic, don't make your body the focus of your health journey, particularly when you're talking to your kids about it. Think about it and frame it as that you want to be fitter, faster, stronger, more capable, have more energy, things like that. Help your tummy. Don't look at it as or talk to them about you being a smaller version of yourself. And, this is all sort of wrapped up in teaching your kids body autonomy and self-trust as well. So kids learn by watching and not by being told, as I don't need to tell you that, you knew that. So if you model respect for your body, your goals, the food that you're eating, be super neutral, share your joy, explain it in a way that is in abundance and not this deprivation mindset, they will pick up on that. But remember, it is okay for them to know that adults manage their health differently. Equally, though, let them see that you also enjoy food, you enjoy being flexible, and also, of course, with exercise that you move with joy and this is something that you want to do, not something you have to do to lose weight. So, this is less about what you're doing with regards to the meal prep, the tracking, choosing not to drink wine on a Wednesday night, and more about how you frame it. So the energy and language around food, goals, and health is what sticks with kids, not whether or not you use a food scale. I'd love to hear all of your tips. I'm sure you've got plenty of ways that you word it with your children in your household. Hit me up in the DMs. I am at Instagram, Threads, and X at Mikki Williden, Facebook at Mikki Williden Nutrition, or head to my website, mikiwilliden.com. All right, team, short and sweet, but hopefully this was helpful nonetheless. See you later.